Hello, my name is Eduardo Noel. This is the video entry for environmental influence on microbial growth, exercise 1, tolerance testing for bio 225. Today is June 17, 2020. Here are my results for the sodium chloride broth tubes. I had to let it incubate for another 24 hours, a total of 48 hours due to growth. So here is the 1%. This is the epidermatitis and cerevisias. Right here, cerevisias. As you could tell, the epidermatitis is negative because there's no, it's a clear broth compared to cerevisias. Here is the epidermatitis and cerevisias. Same thing. Epidermitis is negative as the cerevisias is positive. And 15% epidermatitis and cerevisias. And epidermatitis is negative again, as cerevisias is positive due to the broth. Oh, here is my card. Sorry. So after 48 hours of incubation, the only thing I noticed in growth is the cerevisias on all of them. The 1%, 7%, and 15% sodium chloride. Other than that, the epidermatitis has been negative on all three categories. There's no signs of growth or change of color or cloudiness or anything like, or signs of living. Just clear broth, how it was in the beginning. So it's negative results on that. I will take a picture of it shortly and upload it to my lab. For this section, I'm not so sure if my results were very successful because the epidermatitis was negative. I'm not so sure if I'm expecting some of it to be positive or negative, but I'm not so sure if this is one of my expected results for this experiment. But cerevisias were a success because all three of them, from 1 to 15%, were the broth is cloudy, and this is the 15%. It's cloudy. It's not as clear as a clear broth. So that was a success, and then to me, the epidermatitis is a failure. How does this apply to life? Well, sodium chloride is not harmful to the body. It's just a source of nutrition supplements by basically, if we're dehydrated, the best way to get source of fluid to the body is either electrolytes or sodium chloride. By increasing our fluid intake in our body helps us from being dehydrated and able to transport nutrition with the help of the hemoglobin and oxygen, deoxygenated blood waste, and all that through our blood system. When the only time you're dehydrated is because you're not drinking liquids properly, you're over exceeding the requirement to sweat, like exercise, or you're walking in the desert with a lack of water. So sodium chloride is a good source of fluid to rehydrate you, and also increases your blood pressure and your heart rate from the lack of hydration that the body has. On this experiment, I thought I made an error in regards of the cervaceous, because the first day of after 24 hours of incubation, there was no signs of life, and I redid it again. I let it incubate for another 24 hours, and there was no signs of life. So I believe that, I thought that I did an error in one part, and I couldn't figure out what was my error. But on this experiment, I was able to did everything on time. I let it incubate another day, so everything worked out great for my part in regards of time and following instructions, and not and the organization of my materials. This experiment was actually not too bad. So in regards of for future reference, I'm not so sure what mistakes that occurred and what could be avoidable. So because I don't know if I ever made one, because the epidermatitis was negative on results. Well, my name is Eduardo Noel. This is my lab review for environmental influence on microbial growth, exercise 1, salt tolerance testing for Bio 225. Today is June 17, 2020. Thank you.